Welcome to the Beyond You podcast, where we have real conversations about healing, trusting yourself again, and building the kind of relationships that actually feel good. I'm Samantha, and if you've ever felt like you're just going through the motions, like you're doing all the right things but still feeling disconnected, you're in the right place. Because here we go beyond the surface, beyond the hurt, beyond the patterns that keep you stuck. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Hey, love. Come sit with me. We need to talk about something that I know has been heavy on my heart. And I say that each time, but I've been hearing so much stuff when it comes to family and boundaries and how to be able to work through that. So I wanted to make sure that we really talked about this. But before we dive in, if these conversations keep meeting you exactly where you are, would you hit subscribe? I want to make sure you didn't miss the episodes that might give you the permission you've been waiting for. So this is your space for honest talk. Let's make it official. Okay. All right. Deep breath with me, get your tea, get everything, because we're going to get into it. It's something people really do not talk about. And you finally did it. You set a boundary with your family. Maybe you said, I need some space. I can't come to every gathering. I won't tolerate being spoken to that way. I need you to respect my decisions. And instead of it being received, you've changed. You're being disrespectful. Family doesn't act like this. Who do you think you are? We didn't raise you to be this way. And now you're sitting with this confusing mix of feelings. Part of you knows you needed that boundary, right? But part of you feels guilty, like maybe you are, I'm putting quotation marks, being disrespectful. Like maybe you're wrong. Maybe you should just go back to being easy and accommodating. Drop a comment right now if this has happened to you, because I need you to know you're not the only one navigating this, and you're not wrong for setting the boundary. Today, we're talking about what to do when your family calls your boundaries disrespectful, how to hold your ground without losing yourself in guilt, and how to honor your culture and protect your peace. So let's talk about it. So first, I need you to name something that doesn't get talked about enough. Setting boundaries with family hits different when you're just a woman of color in general. And here's why. Family is everything isn't just a saying, it's a survival. In many of our cultures, Black, Latinx, Asian, immigrant communities, family loyalty isn't just preferred, it's required. It's how we survived. It's how we made it through systems that weren't designed for us. Family is the safety net, the support system, the people who show up when the world doesn't. So when you set a boundary with family, it's not just, I need space. It feels like betrayal, like you're abandoning the very people who kept you alive. That's not just in your head. That's real cultural context. So this whole respect your elders means don't have needs. Many of us were raised with the respect your elders, don't talk back. What happens in this house stays in this house. You do what you're told. And those values, they come from a beautiful place of honoring just lineage, honoring wisdom, honoring the people who sacrificed for us. But somewhere along the way, respect your elders became your needs don't matter. Honor your parents became never disagree with them. And now as an adult, when you try to set a boundary, when you say, I need something different, it gets labeled as disrespect. Not because you've actually being disrespectful, but because the framework doesn't have room for your autonomy. So they raised you to survive in a hard world. And here's the tender part that I need you to acknowledge. Your parents, your elders, they raised you with the tools that they had. And those tools were built for survival in a world that wasn't safe for people who look like us. They taught you to be strong because they couldn't afford for you to be soft. They taught you to comply because resistance could cost you. They taught you to put family first because family was all you had. They loved you the best way they knew how. And that love was protected. It was survival. What kept them safe might be keeping you small. And honoring where that came from doesn't mean you can't choose something different for yourself. So now we're going to get into, now I need you to say this clearly so you can hear it though. Setting boundaries with your family is not disrespectful, it's self-preservation. And let me break down why. Boundaries honor the relationship. okay? When you set a boundary, you're actually trying to stay in relationship. And you hear me talk about this within sessions, whether you work with me in my groups, in my events that I have. Understand that when you're having boundaries, you're saying, I want to be here, but I need things to be different so I can stay here without hurting myself. That's not rejection. That's an invitation to connection that's sustainable. So disrespect would be disappearing without explanation, walking away without trying, cutting people off with no communication. Setting a boundary and explaining why, that's actually a respectful thing to do. You can respect them and disagree with them. Here's what your family might not understand. You can honor them as your elders and have a different perspective. Respect doesn't mean blind obedience. It means, and it also it doesn't mean you never disagree as well. I want to make sure I add that. It doesn't mean you sacrifice yourself to keep them comfortable. You can deeply reject what they've been through, what they've given you, what they've survived, and still choose differently for your own life. Both things can be true. Your needs aren't disrespectful. The fact that you have needs, that you require certain things to feel safe, to feel respected, to feel loved, that's not disrespectful. That's being human. You're not asking for too much by wanting to be spoken to kindly, to have your decisions respected, to not be criticized constantly, to have space when you need it, to be seen as an adult. Those are basic needs, and asking for them honored is not disrespect. Okay? All right. So we got through that. Now we want to get into what to actually do, right? I love giving you guys practical tools. And make sure you like this video just if you like videos like this so I know exactly what you want to be able to hear. All right. So you set the boundary. They call it a disrespectful. Now what? Step 1. Don't argue or defend. When they say you're being disrespectful, your first instinct might be to defend yourself, to explain, to prove you're not. Don't. Because here's what happens. You defending becomes evidence that you are being disrespectful. See, you're talking back, you're arguing. Instead, I hear that you see it that way. I see it differently. I still need and insert the boundary, whatever that is. That's it. No, what I like to call JADE. Justify, argue, defend, explain. You're not debating whether the boundary is valid. You're informing them that it exists. Step 2, I want you to reframe it. If you choose to. If you want to help them understand, and only if you want to, not because you feel you have to, you can reframe the boundary in language that honors your culture. Instead of, I'm setting a boundary because you're toxic, try, I love you and I want us to have a good relationship. For that to happen, I need whatever boundary you want to insert. I'm doing this because I value our connection. You're not changing the boundary. You're just presenting it in a way that might be easier for them to receive. But, and this is important, you don't owe them this reframing. If they can't hear you either way, that's not your fault. Step 3, prepare for the guilt trip. I tell you guys all the time, when you understand what is expected, it is a lot easier to be able to know what exactly is going to happen. So a lot of times the easiest thing to use is guilt trip because it worked. I don't blame people for using that. They're probably going to say things like this. After everything we've done for you, we sacrificed so much and this is how you repay us? You're tearing this family apart. Your grandmother would be so disappointed. That's the guilt trip, and it's designed to make you fold. When it comes, remind yourself, guilt is not the same thing as wrong. I can feel guilty and still be doing the right thing. Their discomfort doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It means they're uncomfortable with change. That's not yours to fix. Step 4, find your people who get it. You cannot do this alone. You need at least one person who understands why you set the boundary and supports you in holding it. Not someone from your family who's going to guilt you back in line. Someone who gets it. If a friend, a therapist, a community, right? I have them come home to yourself, paid Substack, or our community where we kind of navigate stuff together. Because when your family is telling you you're wrong, you need someone reminding you you're not. Step 5, decide what consequences you can live with. Here's the hard truth. Some families will pull away when you set boundaries. Some will escalate, some will cut you off. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it so you can prepare. Ask yourself honestly, if they reject me for this boundary, can I live with that? Is maintaining this boundary more important than maintaining this relationship as it currently is? Sometimes, let's be honest, the answer is yes. Sometimes it's no. Sometimes it's I don't know yet. There's no right answer, just your answer. And whatever you decide, whether you hold the boundary or soften it, whether you stay or create distance, you're not failing. You're making the best choice you can with the information you have. Step 6, grieve what you hoped for. This one's important. You might need to grieve the family dynamic you hoped for. You hope they'd understand. You hope they respect your growth. You hope they say, we see you're struggling, we want to support you. And they didn't, and that hurts. Let yourself feel that loss. Journal it in the I Miss Me journal, process it with your therapist, write about it in the gentle work, that we talk about in the Substack, which is a free Substack post, where I'm holding space for the exact moments, right? Because you can hold the boundary and grieve that it was necessary. Both are true. Before you go, I need you to really hear this. You are not being disrespectful by having needs. You are not betraying your culture by protecting yourself. You are not abandoning your family by choosing yourself. You are trying to stay in a relationship in a way that doesn't require you to disappear. And if they can't meet you there, that is painful. That's real, and that's not your fault, though. You can honor your culture and set boundaries. You can respect your elders and disagree with them. You can love your family and protect your peace. These things are not mutually exclusive, and the people telling you they benefit you from not having boundaries. But here's what I need from you. I want you just to share this episode with a friend navigating family boundaries. You can tag me over my Instagram at @IamSamantha.A, and let's normalize the cultural loyalty that doesn't require self-abandonment. You could drop a final comment. What boundary do you need to set or keep holding with your family? Subscribe if you have not. I'm really trying to hit our goal in getting to at least 1,000 people this year. These conversations are about the real hard parts of healing. This is what we do here. And for weekly support, you can join me on the Substack where I talk about things daily. We have notes that go out as well. For a deeper community, you might want to be part of our Come Home to Yourself membership, is where we practice holding boundaries together with women who get it and actually have the tools on how to do these things in more depth so you can really make this happen for yourself. And also know that I have Miss Me journal as well. Just remember just who you are after all that you've been through. Before you go, hand on your heart, deep breath, say this: I honor my family and protect myself. I can respect my culture and have boundaries. My needs are not disrespectful. I am not too much. I am not doing this wrong. Your boundary is valid, even if they can't see it. You are choosing yourself with them, if they'll meet you there, though. And if they won't, that's their choice. It's not yours. And take care of that beautiful heart. And I'll see you next week.